Hi, I'm the Paper Craftsman, and in this video I will share with you all the information you need to get started making your own Papercraft models. This video is aimed at complete beginners and will cover all the basics, from the tools and materials required to how to assemble the models. Let's get started! In order to create a Papercraft model, you need the following: glue, scissors or a craft knife, paper, and access to a printer. While not strictly required, I recommend getting a toothpick, a ruler or some sort of straight edge, a self-healing cutting mat, some tweezers, and some paper clips. For glue, I recommend white glue, or school glue as it is often referred to. Ideally some that is quick drying and extra strength. Scissors or a craft knife are needed to cut out the pieces. I suggest using a craft knife, but scissors will work fine. Once you have your tools ready, we can print the pattern. While printing may seem like something very basic that doesn't need to be mentioned, there are a few things I'd like to go over. The first thing is printing from a PDO file. It is very possible that up until now you have never heard of this file type that is often used to share Papercraft models. For patterns that come in only a PDO format, you need to download a free program called Pepakura Viewer. Once installed, it will let you view and print the model. See the link in the description for the download. The last note on printing is that when you are on the print setup page, make sure that you check the box Print Actual Size. This will make sure that all the parts are the same scale. It's a minor thing, but it can help avoid the issue of pieces not fitting together correctly later on. Once we have our pattern printed out, it's time to cut. As mentioned before, you can use either scissors or a craft knife. For best results though, I recommend using a straight edge and a craft knife. It will take a bit longer, but you can make nicer, cleaner cuts. No matter what you use though, take your time and cut as neatly as you can. Note, if your parts aren't numbered or labeled in any way, it's best to cut them out one by one as needed to prevent any mix-ups later. Now, another thing we can do at this point is to score any fold lines in advance so that they fold a little crisper and easier. All you need is something with a hard fine edge that won't cut the paper and use it to trace the fold lines. I use a dull craft blade, but you can use things like paper clips, credit cards, nails, pens, or pencils. Depending on your pattern though, it may be easier to score after cutting. Generally, you want to score the side of the paper that is going to be hidden on the inside of the model because scoring the paper makes the part a little rougher and can even remove ink from the surface. It's not mandatory to score the folds though, so if it's going to be too difficult or you don't feel it's worth it, then don't fret about it and just move on to the next step, which is folding! Folding is another pretty simple step, as all you need to do is fold all the fold lines in the direction indicated. There is one thing I want to mention though, mainly that I do not recommend creasing the folds. I know it may seem like a good idea, but it actually weakens the paper and can also warp it to the point that the pieces won't fit together like they should. Once you have taken the time to fold the parts, you can move on to the next step, assembling the model. Most models are put together by applying glue on a tab and then pressing that tab into a matching face. Before we start applying glue though, we need to make sure we know how the parts go together correctly. Some models come with instructions, but not all. There are a few other ways designers can relay this information though. Some place numbers on both the tabs and the edges, and it's just a matter of matching the numbers as you go. Others use the PDO file itself as a set of instructions, as Pepakura Viewer allows the user to view the whole model and highlight individual parts to see where they go. Whatever the method of instruction, make sure you know where a piece goes before applying the glue. It can be very easy to glue a tab into the wrong spot, and if you don't notice in time, it can wreck your model. Also, make sure you put the tab on the inside of the model so it's hidden when completed. When applying glue, it's also important to not put too much on, as the water in the glue can warp the paper. This is why I recommend using a toothpick to apply the glue. With a toothpick, you can apply as much or as little as you need, as well as spread it evenly across the tab. I also recommend only gluing one tab at a time and waiting for it to dry, at least at first. It doesn't need to be completely dry before you start on the next tab, but it should be dry enough that the part won't slip or slide out of position as you handle it. Eventually, as you get more comfortable with the process, you'll find it easier to speed things up. Which brings me to my final point of the video, and that is to take your time. That goes for every stage of the process, not just while assembling. It can take several hours to make a model. So remember to take breaks, get up and stretch, move around, remember to blink, and so on and so forth. If you try and rush to the end, you are more likely to make a mistake or stress yourself out. And that's not the point. This can be a very relaxing and enjoyable hobby if you let it. And with that, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. Take care and happy crafting!